How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm just playing a little bit of Mortal Kombat, and I'm just a little bit tired right now. I've been busy. I'm kind of glad that this has been happening lately. Lately, people are talking about Evo, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can go into the main display or into my... Now, there's been a lot of talk about what's going on, so I need to find out where the heck is the chat one. Did I delete that one? Ending intro. Oh, Jesus Christ, it got deleted. Alright, let's go back to the chatter box here. Sorry, I'm just kind of messing with my settings here. I'm just playing Mortal Kombat. There's been a lot of talk about what was going on, and I've been busy. You may notice that I'm playing on the Wii U version of this. This is not really great stuff that I'm dealing with. I'm just messing around, playing. So, not much I can say about it. It's just, there's a lot of things going down. A lot of people for a while. Now, keep this in mind. There's been a lot of talk that's been happening in the gaming community, and I don't really care to discuss this because a lot of people are talking about this issue for a while, and it's been a lot of months. So I'm just going to try to play Mortal Kombat here, and I know that most people are probably... This is not going to be... The thing is, there is a lot of things going down.
Turn from Shao Kahn, Collector.
A lot of people are talking about this. It really bothers me that this... And I seem to have problems with my connection. I really hate my internet, and it's not that great. So I'm just telling you this because it's being brutally honest here, because a lot of the things I wish I had a better connection on the internet to work at a job that sucks and it doesn't help pay the bills.
Fight!
trying to figure out what to do here because I'd never played Collector, and I hate playing with Collector because Collector's always been the worst possible Collector. And right now this is how bad my stream is when it comes to my so bad.
Fight. Collector wins.
That's how bad my I'm just trying to do the challenges so I can at least learn how to play this game because I am terrible with these challenges that they do. Because I am not familiar with Collector, and I do not own a really good controller on the Nintendo Switch. This is how bad the Nintendo Switch is. So, 3 dead elder coins. I don't see the point of this. Let's see, race against time. How does that work? Okay, so I gotta use her.
D'Vorah.
I'll take her buzzing high because she makes more sense. But I will say this, because a lot of people are talking about Mr. Wizard. I'm going to go ahead and play a video by a YouTuber named Dedra who's been talking about this for a while. I recommend you take his content out because he definitely has something to say about this issue. And of course, he's been talking about this for a while, so I'm going to give him the time to discuss some of the stuff that went down in EVO. So here we go.
Alright, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with EVO, right? It's like a gaming tournament where a bunch of gamers go and then they compete in their favorite fighting game, and you know, first place gets the most amount of money. Since 2015, they amassed an average of 10,000 entrants to their tournaments, so they're a pretty big deal if you're in the fighting game community or just like to watch that type of thing. Now, I've never really played fighting games myself except for like, you know, Smash with the boys. Play a little bit of like Mortal Kombat and Tekken growing up, you know, being like 10 years old, watching Scorpion blow someone's head off and guts going everywhere, that sort of thing. But you know, Smash was definitely what I was really heavily into for sure, so I only really followed that scene, and that's what made me familiar with EVO. EVO, short for Evolution Championship Series, was actually started in 1996 and was formerly called the Battle of the Bay, and some of these founders were Inkblot, Ponder, Mr. Wizard, and S-Kill. And these people managed to create a tournament that people of all ages, from Lil Timmy to 40-year-old Clyde in his mother's basement, looked forward to attending and hopefully winning one day to prove to themselves that they worked hard and were able to achieve winning freaking EVO in their respected game, which is pretty cool itself. And I've spent time watching EVO as well, so you know, I'm just as much of a nerd The first time I actually watched EVO was around 2013, so I was about 15 years old, and I remember that people really wanted Melee at EVO, and there was a competition where whoever raised the most money for charity had their respected game featured in EVO for everybody to compete in. So like, I don't really know all the other games, but like, say, you know, there was My Little Pony Fighter. If My Little Pony Fighter raised the most money for charity, they're going to be featured in EVO. Well, instead of My Little Pony Fighter, which I hope is not a thing, Super Smash Bros. Melee actually ended up raising $94,000 within the community of fans, and that game was able to be featured in EVO, and that money went towards breast cancer research, which is really cool. Shouts out EVO. Shouts out the Melee else who raised money for charity to get to the tournament as well. So boom, yeah, if you were in the Smash community, your eyes were definitely on EVO though. And again, I was 15 years old. My cousins were younger than me watching this. I had cousins who put me onto Smash that were 9, 10, 11 years older than me. So EVO is definitely something where both entrants and spectators were of all ages. Raising money for charity and being featured in the biggest fighting game tournament ever wasn't even the only thing that put the community of Super Smash Bros.'s eyes onto EVO. While Melee was being streamed at EVO, Nintendo of America blocked the live stream and did not allow it to continue until there was so much backlash that they allowed it to run up again, which is really weird on America. And this is like really when people started to realize Nintendo truly did not like Super Smash Bros. At all, considering it was being streamed to the biggest tournament ever and more eyes are being looked at on their 2001 fighting game that's still loved and cherished to that day. And according to Mr. Wizard, he said on the esports show Live on 3, Nintendo not only tried to shut down the live stream, but also the Melee tournament itself. And then Nintendo reverted this decision after being faced with community backlash on social media. Raising money for charity and getting Nintendo to let Melee be streamed was a huge win for the Smash Bros. Community, the fighting game community, and just EVO as a whole. And it gave a lot more media attention to EVO for this happening, which was cool on Mr. Wizard because he was actually the spokesperson for all of this controversy going down, and he was the person speaking on behalf of EVO. Mr. Wizard even went out of his way in 2014 to seek the approval of Nintendo to allow him to feature Melee again in the EVO 2014 tournament, which Nintendo not only approved but even sponsored. Now fast forward to 2020, we can read headlines like EVO 2020 officially canceled Joey, Mr. Wizard, Quailer no longer a part of the organization. At this point, are you even surprised? Are you like literally, I'm sure you're sitting there like the bruh face emoji just saying, yeah, of course. To make why at this point, with all the allegations coming forward, why wouldn't something with EVO or a huge tournament come out like this? Because so many people that we trust just have so many things to hide. So what was it that Mr. Wizard actually did? Well, buckle in, gamers, because it's pretty disturbing. And before we jump into this, I'm gonna put a picture of Joey, Mr. Wizard on the screen here, just so you can get a good idea of who this man is, and you can put a face on what I'm about to go over in this twit longer from Mikey. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read a decent amount, and I'm going to skip through some stuff here. So we're going to start right here with, so let's take a step back from here. I was born in '83. I was a baby of this group. Everyone was 5 to 10 years older than me. I looked up to every single one of them, and I would try to join in and be a part of the boys talk about sex and women and all that. It wasn't hazing, but a lot of the boys club would often have us do stupid stuff for a laugh, and they give us tokens or buy us food if we were willing to do whatever stupid thing it was. Most of it was genuinely harmless, scream something loud, stuff along those lines. And keep in mind, this was in like the 90s, specifically 97, so arcade games and like just chilling in an arcade was the norm, which sounds pretty cool, honestly. Mr. Wizard, Joey Quailer, was especially into this. He would pay people hundreds of tokens to do things like take off their clothes and jump into the water hazard pools for a certain amount of times. 99% of the times it was young boys. There is only a singular instance I know of where it wasn't a young boy, and that singular instance, she was allowed to do it in the future in whatever clothes she liked and only for a few seconds. But for all the boys, out of recollection 12 to 16, it was like 10-15 minutes we had to be in our underwear, under the reasoning that it would be colder. Oh god. And there were always challenges that would be like spot on, so he never had time to like prepare a change of clothes or anything like that because he didn't know what was going on beforehand. Goes on to say, we were teenagers with no money, and 100 to 200 tokens, $20 to $40 worth of tokens was a lot. So almost all of us did it without a second thought. Jump in a pool for 10 minutes for $40? Frick, yes. We never really thought of it in a predatory way. From here, I have to jump into a side story To jump into the context of this, at SHGL, the male bathroom had one stall, and directly next to that stall was a urinal. Somebody drilled a pee hole into that stall so that while sitting in the stall, they could see people using the urinal. Workers found this and put a screw in the hole. During a group conversation, a few weeks after B5, either late August or early September of 2001, someone asked about the screw, and one of the workers explained that in the group, someone made a joke about how it's mostly Asian people, even if you were gay. Why'd you want to look at a bunch of tiny penises? And me, being who I am, who loves to research into things that are common myths and ideas, said, that's not true. Asians on average are as big as other races when erect. The average male penis is 5 1/4 inches when erect. That's a very specific thing to say. Again, if you knew me back then, this was 100% on brand for me to say, even though I was only 17 at the time, around a bunch of guys that were like 5 to 10 years older than me. So Wizard took a stab at me by saying, so you're saying you're average? I proclaimed back, I'm above average, because of course I've measured it when looking this all up because I'm a teenager and wondered how I compared it. Wizard said, I bet you're not. I bet you $20 you're not. And so a bet was made. He later made stipulations that he'd have to see it in person, and I argued, how am I going to get randomly erect for you to see? So I brought a bunch of porn to SHGL, went to the bathroom stall while he waited outside of the bathroom for me to call him in. It wasn't an easy task to get hard. And when I did, I took out a ruler, unlocked the stall door, and called him in. I instantly got flaccid as soon as he opened the stall door. I stared at the ruler, and the thought in my head was, this still better count as over 5 1/4 by the time he opened the stall door. He made a joke about it. Man, you shrank hella fast, and gave me $20. Oh my god. Imagine just being in your friend group, chilling, having a good time. You know, just some boys talk. And big ol' Mr. Wizard says he wants to look at your penis. So you go into the bathroom with some porn, you get an erection, and then Mr. Pickles under the tongue barges into the bathroom stall. You look him in the eyes, he looks at you and hands you $20 and says, dang bro, you shrank hella fast. Next thing you know, you're watching him run one of the biggest tournaments for gaming in the entire world. Anyways, let's keep going. None of this really registered to me until many years later. People were talking about bets they've won and things they did, so I told this story. Vincent laughed, and I remember the exact words. You got $20 to give Wizard a night of jerk off material. I was like, huh? Vincent goes, you didn't know? Joey's gay. It suddenly came together. The pool stuff, the bet, and everything else all kind of came together. A few others there were like, yeah man, you didn't know? Before you ask, it didn't leave any kind of weird trauma or anything. I always had a bunch of issues and I didn't let it bother me. So what we got here is a huge prominent figure in the fighting game community and just well-respected person who runs the biggest tournament in the world, being known as a predator within his friend group. Like, it's just this normal thing. Keep in mind, this was the 90s, and speaking out about stuff like this or just being aware of it wasn't common. The internet wasn't around. It was hard to be educated about social issues and just, you know, stuff like that going on. Now, Joey since deleted a lot of his tweets, but we were lucky enough to actually screen cap it because I figured this dude's a freak, so he's gonna end up deleting things anyways, which he did. And we can see here, I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt anyone. I was young and reckless and did things I'm not proud of. I've been growing and maturing over the past 20 years, but that doesn't excuse anything. All I've been trying to do is become a better person. Once again, I'm truly sorry. If you were going to post fake DMs, at least do some research. My Twitter username wasn't even Mr. Wiz from 2010 to 2016. Obviously a smear campaign. Always gonna be guilty before an incident on social media. And then someone saying that Mikey's story is basically BS because he is a deviant, sex pest, and victimized. But throughout this whole story, guys, like, you could see he was pretty like straightforward with it and even said he wasn't traumatized by it. This dude kid loved having sex. He could have done, he unfortunately could have, like, I'm saying he didn't, but like, you know, theoretically, like, say he did something stupid, like, you know, pushed an old lady into the street, you know, and then took her wallet and ran. He could have done all that. That's as far as like Mr. Wizard go, that's irrelevant, and Mr. Wizard still did what he did. Obviously Mikey didn't push an old lady and steal her wallet, thankfully. I'm just saying, whatever Mikey's past is irrelevant to showing that Joey Kular, aka Mr. Wizard, aka running the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, is a predator. So maybe Mikey does push somebody's grandma into the street, or, you know, steals a bag of Skittles from the store and everything he says gets construed to be invalid. Well, we have someone, obviously that didn't happen, I hope it doesn't happen. We have a gentleman named Anton who came out with his own experiences of Mr. Wizard with screenshots. So this time we definitely aren't going to read the whole twit longer. It gives his backstory and gives context as to how he became cool with Mr. Wizard, with the group of people surrounding him, and just how he is familiar with the fighting game community. What we are going to look at though is Mr. Wizard's inappropriate conduct, and you may have seen this tweet in one of my other videos where it says the following: Joey Cular, Mr. Wiz, send me a pic of you in your underwear only and what size boxers you wear to MrWizard@shoryuken.com. Here's my very first DM from Joey on Twitter in 2013, not counting any interactions we've had on SRK, MIRC, AIM, etc. AIM? That's cursed. This is the opening message. Hey B-boy, my friend is some B-ass elite 3D printer and wants to make sick accessories. He wants to make Evo ball tops, maybe to sell. Why don't you take the 3D printer and print out replicas of your penis? You can't sell Evo stuff without permission. I know, dumbass, that's why I'm asking you. He doesn't care, just thought it would be cool if you wanted to, nerd boy. I started working in the community, behind the scenes, locally and nationally. I remain in talks with Joey and others to partake in my hobbies and to do my job for the community. It's because of this, despite Joey's behavior and advances, I let it slide. At this time, I try to very awkwardly joke back, change the subject, or play it off as banter. That makes sense. You know, I feel like a lot of us, especially, like, I'm not this nice guy at all. You know, like Leffen said, don't stand me, don't think of me as a golden child. I'm not this nice person. You guys don't know me. I'm a person, and I'll banter right back and forth, like how it seems like that Anton talked to Joey very passive aggressively, but in like a friendly way. Like, this is how I would talk to my friends, you know what I mean? This is how, just, you know, boys talk to boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I understand where he's coming from. You know, nothing really too big of a deal. So let's continue reading the DMs. Price of the premium pass is $40 and price of an upgrade to competitive pass is $20. So you got the $40 and you want to upgrade $20 to $60, but you still need to register for a tournament only pass. I can't manually put you in the system without hecka work. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, never mind on that. I just registered you for Super Street Fighter 4. You can give me the cash on today or tomorrow when I'm in Vegas. Don't register now. I learned quickly that didn't matter to him at all. I minimalized the predatory behavior from Joey, which began when I was a minor and continued for years. Do you want a job there? I could probably make it happen. The insider circle. Being in the insider circle meant having certain privileges. We were able to get privileges similar to the top players, including brackets, deadlines, early bird, etc. So this screenshot's extremely hard to read. I need to inquire about pool movage for Broheim. He's my roommate and the guy who runs blah blah blah. His pool is at a certain time, 8 AM I think. He's being annoying. So I sent a request for him to be moved, but was wondering what the likelihood of that was. He'll probably be cleaning up till 4 AM via submit feedback. Yeah, I think so. I didn't see any other way. It was for blah blah blah. It wasn't charged then Ponder didn't deem it worthy. His pool is at 12 PM. Tell him to get his lazy ass out of bed. He said, aha, thanks. I expect wiener pics. He's like 6'7", Nordic maybe. I meant you, D-bag. I only turned down for him. Jesus Christ. As long as you drank from the Kool-Aid, as long as you were a favorite, Joey would give certain privileges using his power and influence. Joey was always willing to bargain, and there was always a trend with his humor. Oftentimes, these privileges came with sexual comments or requests for wiener pics. Going on with the messages, where's my Evo jersey 2.0? Official ambassador of Las Vegas Evo. Where's my dong 2.0? Oh my god, dong for a jersey? Jesus. Dad bod? I'm hella dadded. You should start a dad body website and model. You'll make millions. Evo sponsored. If Evo sponsored, you getting naked, son? And maybe you will get upgraded once you join the dong club. Oh god. Move to Cali, you could be my pool boy. And something that Anton says in his tweet longer that I'm going to reiterate here myself is basically like, we have a whole group of people, myself included, in the beginning of this saying like Evo's the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. If it's not one of them, it is, you know, the biggest. And with so many local tournaments going on, with the internet peaking literally every week and just growing all the time, Evo doesn't have to be this huge thing, and this doesn't have to be like the downfall of the fighting community. You know, if you want to game with the boys on a Saturday night and talk about going to the next big tournament, that big tournament don't gotta be Evo. But still, yeah, man, it's crazy just to see all this. It's so weird to see all this like systemic stuff going on within this friend group, not protecting but maybe ignoring this big old dude who just had a weird erotic obsession. So the response from this all happening and coming out was Evo Online canceled following accusations of sexual abuse against CEO being Mr. Wizard himself. Even Street Fighter themselves tweeted out, in light of recent accusations of misconduct made against Evo organizer Joey QR, Capcom will no longer be participating in Evo 2020. Out of the respect of those who have been affected and to the current investigation, we felt this was appropriate course of action, hence we're looking forward to these tournaments. Moving forward, Tony Cannon will now be the new CEO of Evo, and Evo will be donating the equivalent of the proceeds to Project Hope. Pretty cool on them. Shout out Project Hope. Shout out donating the money for charity, and I hope Tony Cannon does a really good job. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely need to reinvent themselves from the inside out and convince everybody that their tournaments are safe for people to participate in. That's going to take a lot of work, and that's, you know, it's up to the community whether or not they accept Evo as what it used to be before everything came to light. And before we end this off here, I want to leave off with a note from a very, very respected member of the Smash community and just I think the commentating and FGC community in general, Toph, who says the following: burn this whole thing to the ground. Heck Evo, the more I hear from the FGC's OGs, the more it sounds like there was a systematic cover-up going on for this dude. I'm so mad. On top of this, let me tell y'all about the only interaction I've ever had in real life with Mr. Wizard. Evo 2013 or 14, it must have been one of the first time Melee was at Evo. Me and Bobby were getting ready to commentate top 8. We were already seated at the commentary desk. It was almost time for mic checks and all that jazz. Mr. Wizard comes up to us, doesn't greet us or anything, just looks at us with his death glare and says, "You guys better do a good freaking job." It wasn't a joke. He walked off. What kind of freaking professional way is that to talk to the people you hired? I've done Evo for years in spite of this D-bag and not otherwise. I always said, well, frick Mr. Wizard, but Evo's a special tournament for the community, and the other guys who run it make it all worth it in the end. That's clearly not good enough for any longer. Just got done reading these DMs that Mr. Wizard insists is a smear campaign, LOL. I encourage my recent followers to check this out and come to their own conclusion. Peace out, guys. And it's just the Mr. Wizard requesting underwear pictures from Alright, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with what we're about to go over is everything. Senpai is the absolute worst case to come out of all of the allegations in the Smash community this past week, and it's overshadowed by the fact that it is a woman preying on a young man instead of the other way around. This young man, known as Puppe, is currently live streaming right now after a series of very serious tweets regarding suicide. But this video is not to highlight just his case, which is very unfortunate, and I'm very thankful he came out, and all my blessings are going to him right now. This video is not going to capitalize off of his story. This video is going to expose Senpai for who she truly is and talk about the other stories that have come out about her and how she manipulated the men in her life to get what she wants. Women will take advantage of vulnerable kids, whether or not they have social disabilities or mental health, and it is something we need to discuss and talk about more often. And I am not alone, because Arrest Cinnamon and Dunson is literally trending as I'm making this video, and let's just get into it. Let's just talk about why. All right, so this video that we're about to watch together, it was compiled by the Greasy Badger. His links are going to be down below so you guys can check the video out yourself. Allegedly, these VODs are being deleted one by one, and just suspicious stuff is going on, so I'm gonna be sure to take this time to highlight these weird actions Senpai is doing here, dancing and swaying around and just being touchy, as Badger says, in the background of this VOD, and really no one's even paying attention or raising any concern. I mean, besides this guy in the pink shirt, I guess, is kind of just talking to them about things, but at the same time, it's such a crazy thing to think about, and it's so irregular for a woman of this age and this reputable to prey on a kid so vulnerable, so young, and so unaware of what's going on, that I think it's just easy for everybody around to not even realize. It almost seems unreal, and you could see them here just getting completely handsy, bro. This young man, look how much he cares about her, and how much she probably reassured him. She is fully aware what she's doing here. She knows this will never work, this will never come to light, this is only temporary, and she is going in with some type of weird motive, and I don't know what it is and what gain she wanted, but she knew that she was leaving this relationship right here, leaving this kid in shambles, and years down the line tweeting suicidal thoughts and just really upsetting things on the timeline, where we're all here sitting here wondering how we can make this situation come more to light and make her held accountable for her actions, because she is still silent even after what, 2 days now, 2 days. And I just completely missed this here, but as you can see, he grabs her face, just being a kid, with someone he cares about, and she points at the camera, and I don't know if he's going in for a kiss like the video says, but she points at here, and maybe she's saying don't touch my face, look, there's a camera right there, look, we're in public, there's all these people around. She is 24, she's very aware, she's obviously smart, she's gotten to where she is, and she's manipulated the people she has, and even though she is a sociopath, she knows what she's doing in that regard. Now, obviously, I know people are saying she obviously didn't kiss him because they are on camera. I hope that even if the camera's off, they're not kissing, because and I hope that Billy and Joe or whoever is behind them would speak out if that were the case, that they were kissing. Being on camera or not being on camera, they were fully willing, or she at least was fully willing, to hide the relationship to save her own butt. And obviously she didn't think it would get to this point, because as we know, her name used to be Speak Up, and how it is something different when she got caught. And then here is Pup winning his set, all happy and stuff. Look how happy, I guess they're excited, maybe, I don't know, actually he looks a little disappointed and she's cheering him on, to be honest. But young man wins his set, and she's like, all right, let's go, and they walk out of the room together. Pup will never ever be able to have a regular relationship ever again in his life. He is literally tweeting very suicidal thoughts, and who knows how long this has been going on for. We can only imagine, since he realized the extent of this incident. When he's 14, he's just a kid, he's excited to be in a relationship and be noticed by someone respected in his community, along with it being a 24-year-old grown woman. He doesn't know, so everybody's saying, oh my god, he's so lucky, oh, she's doing a favor, blah blah blah. You're a weirdo, and I hope you're never around children. This young man is manipulated in so many ways beyond just his future relationships and trust issues. He won't be able to trust people in general. He's going to question everything. He's going to question what he did wrong to Senpai for her to do this to him and then just leave him in the dust and never talk to him again. Other person named Glyph came out with a tweet longer, and I'll summarize it for you guys because I did actually read it. TLDR, Glyph was in a relationship with Senpai, and he was really into her, and like, you know, she was cool. She was respected. He's a nerd. He's a dork at the time, and like he was vulnerable and excited to be with her. Whatever, normal human being stuff happens all the time. And then she cheated on him. He caught her and like ignored it, whatever. Like they were together, and then she just kept acting weird. And when he would try to leave, like she would have sex with him, or like try to lure her to have sex so she could have something over him and have like this power trip over him, and just basically manipulate this like really like nerdy, just vulnerable dude. For her own little ego, and just a bunch of weird things. Now I haven't read Zephyr's tweet longer yet because it actually just came out today, so we might as well read it together and talk about it here. So my experiences with Cinnamon Dunsin Senpai. As early as March 2016, Senpai and I discussed the possibility of living together as we had what I believe to be a strong friendship. From the start, I tried to make sure she understood that she would need to get a job and contribute to the house, both financially and with cleaning stuff to make it work. The original concept involved me moving out of my house and down to the Virginia Beach area, mainly due to location-based trauma that I was trying to avoid processing. Although we talked about it for several times throughout the year, I was extremely hesitant to leave my house and area, and nothing ever materialized from it. Then we have an Imgur link where they are just talking about it. Sometime around November 2016, Senpai instead proposed the idea of moving into my house in Northern Virginia. She had been telling me that her living situation in Southern Virginia, is that Southern Virginia? I'm probably an idiot. Okay, anyway, Sova was unbearable, and she sounded desperate enough that I wanted to give her a safe place to stay while she got on her feet, under her and her life in order. I agreed to it with the same conditions that we discussed previously, and we talked about her getting a car to make a job possible, including going out to look at some used cars for sale near my house. I also made it clear that I didn't necessarily see her living in my house as a long-term solution for her. And then they talk about that. I quit my job today. I want to move with you. I can't stay here. Yeah. After she moved in, her boyfriend Wadi began to visit her on a daily basis, and it got to the point where he would stay over almost every night. This in itself would have been an awful thing, but Senpai seemed content to live a relatively low stress life and showed no interest in finding a job. We talked near the end of 2016, and I reiterated that she needed to work on getting a job and taking care of herself, especially if I decided to move out of the area, which I was still considering at this point. After this talk, she began to cry, and I comforted her, feeling badly about being upset but resolute that she needed to change things. After this talk, she sent me a long message essentially saying that she didn't want or really need a traditional job and how important I was to her. Basically, this whole thing is TLDR. She is living in like the fantasy of being an internet persona for a living, which is something that a lot of people want to do, and the reality and facing the reality of getting a real job and not actually making it is really haunting. And I feel like getting a real job makes people kind of feel like they aren't going to be able to achieve that professional personality for a living type ordeal. So I think that's what she was going through. A couple weeks later, Senpai informed me that she'd been hired at a brew house that was about a 20-minute drive from my house, which I live in the middle of nowhere. Almost any job would be a minimum 10-15 away. I congratulated her, and I asked how she would get from work. She told me that her plan involved having Wadi drive her and using rideshare services when he couldn't. I don't believe that she lasted more than a week or two at most at her job before she quit, and things returned to normal for a bit. I don't know whether she thought her making that minimal effort would satisfy me for a time. Yeah, that does make sense, to be honest. Like, oh, well, I tried, whatever, I'll just live here. And early February, I sat Senpai down for another serious talk. I reiterated my previous points about her needing some kind of contributable income. I also told her that her boyfriend couldn't live at the house with her. Him being there almost 24/7 was a part of original discussion, and having an unexpected extra person in my house was having an adverse effect on me. I told her that he was welcome to come spend time with her and occasionally stay over, but it couldn't be every night. She readily agreed to everything, and then identically to our last conversation like that, she began to cry. Although I felt badly about causing her emotional reaction, I held firm to what I told her. There's a bit more to this portion of the story, but I'll address it near the end of this document. I sent Senpai a message in mid-February letting her know that I didn't think our living situation could continue. I tried to keep it diplomatic and friendly as possible, communicating my feelings without assigning blame for why it wasn't working. She responded back with her side of things, but ultimately agreed to work on finding a new place to live by the end of March. By mid-March, she had left my house and did not return. She left most of her belongings, including her bed, in a room of my house for at least 6 to 8 months until she had Wadi return to load them up and take them wherever they were staying. Senpai and I only occasionally saw each other at Smash events for the next several months. Our relationship became strained and we exchanged some tearful messages, though we always tried to repair things until everything became clear to me and I blocked her on everything months later. So now, after all that, I'd like to touch on the emotional and sexual manipulation that Senpai exhibited. In February 2016, I told Senpai that I liked her, but added that if it didn't happen, I still valued her friendship and didn't want that to change. She thanked me for that and stated that she wanted to pursue a relationship with another Smasher. G Money. Now that Senpai knew that I was interested, however, she took the opportunity to exercise her power however she could, whether it was taking advantage of my kindness to ask for money or give me a huge hickey before Xanadu weekly, or even sending me lewd pictures of herself. She constantly toyed with my emotions and kept me close enough and interested enough that she could manipulate me to get what she needed, exactly like she did with Glyph and Pup. During that time at Sova, Smash players would regularly come stay at my house for several days. Senpai told me how much enjoyment she got from messing with Hyro, potentially without his consent, She indicated that she mentally enjoyed touching him and pushing his boundaries, I also found out about multiple instances of Senpai talking down about me to her friends. In one instance, immediately after performing oral sex on her boyfriend, she took a drink of my milkshake, then oh no, sir. Oh my god. Last and potentially most serious bit here, this comes essentially right into the conversation I had with Senpai at the beginning of February. At the end of our conversation, Senpai asked me if we could cuddle for a bit to help her feel better. I agreed. We laid there for like a few minutes. That's really awkward. Unexpectedly, before I realized what she was doing, Senpai shoved her hand down my pants. It was good. Let me be very clear about this. Although I had openly told Senpai I was interested in her throughout the course of the relationship, and we were comfortable cuddling up with each other, we didn't have a relationship beyond that, especially because she was with Wadi at this time. Unfortunately, my hormones impaired my judgment, and at this point, oh no, I didn't immediately pull away from her. Instead, I told her that if she didn't pull her hand in the pants, I would put mine in hers. Her only response was to open the leg slightly. So we laid like that for several more minutes before the wrongness of the situation pierced my hormone-induced haze, and I gotta move to okay. I can't speak on specifics regarding Puff's twit longer, other than to say that a lot of it lines up with my observations of events and beliefs. This man said he put his hand in her pants, and then that is what his hormone-induced haze cleared up. Yo, from all this stuff coming up about Senpai, I don't blame that hormone-induced haze getting clear once that went down. There's one conversation that I had with Senpai where she asked me if there was a way to delete messages from Facebook because Pup had some that could ruin her or something to that effect. It was a long time ago and I don't have screenshots or anything of this. I sat on all this for years, well, mostly because I was afraid to come forward with it. I've shared bits and pieces of this with people through the years, and although some were understanding and saw the same thing I did, I also got a lot of "no way, she's awesome and nice" reactions. No way, we enter her weekly tournaments. I see her on the internet. No way she can be that girl. I was afraid that people wouldn't believe me and I'd be shunned from the community that I love. But it's time for this to come out, not for my sake, but so people can understand. Well, I mean, we're all accepting, you know, exposing people at this point, and she's already been exposed, so like that's why you're comfortable coming out. Anyways, if any of our community leaders have any questions or need more detail, reach out. Please keep in mind this post about the person who has done terrible things, but they're still a person. I agree. Let's not destroy them. I don't know. People are gonna be calling senpai a pedophile forever. I think just some insane mental health issues are going down here. I don't know what trauma she suffered it from in the past, but she definitely needs therapy, and it's pretty bad. It's really sad. I think it just, I don't know, like a lot of mental illness really is playing a part in all these stories. And yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna end it here. Let me know what you guys think about this, and I will see you on the next one. Adios. Love you. Peace, peace, peace. Hey, what's good, everybody? Today we're gonna be talking
We have tweet, and representing EMP, we have what?
Before I start, I have a quick announcement. Senpai, can you enter the stage, please? I never would have thought that going to tournaments would bring me to love in my life. But here we are, standing in an enhanced version of 4 weeks ahead. I'm proud to call you my partner and my best friend. You're my everything, baby. Please make me the happiest man in the world.
Boy, you about to do it. Boy, you did it.
I love it! Rex doing the up B, not going to the ledge, and he just kind of took that for free. Commentator's curse? I mean,
if it really was that powerful, do you know how bad you could rip brackets? I don't know, they just happen. Zero versus, I mean, zero. It'd be like Mewtwo King versus
Azrael. Yeah, man, Azrael gonna end up not killing him. And then he wins. Commentator's curse.
Luigi with down B can kill Cloud at 0 if he gets him off stage.
I'm gonna go listen to that match. I'm gonna listen to the commentators if they said that. I'm calling you out on it, Logic.
All right, man, go for it.
No, it was
more power to you.
It was just.
Thank you guys for watching. Please support Pape. Please support victims of abuse. If you guys like to see more content, please hit that subscribe button. More predators will be exposed. Be smart and be safe out there, guys. Hope you guys have a good day.
You ain't I'm putting together a team.
So today on Twitter, lots of things are trending. Nairo got called out for sexual abuse. Keitaro got called out for sexual abuse. D1, Cinepi, lots of just disgusting things and actions going on from prominent figures in the Smash community. It's really sad. Lots of people from all ages looked up to these people. Memberships getting canceled. People are calling them out. Lots of info is coming out from like other people involved, and it's just a mess. This is really difficult for me to read. And just so you guys know, all proceeds this video makes will be donated to the RAIN Anti-Sexual Abuse Charity. So on July 2nd, Captain Zach tweeted, "I'm tired of living a life of lies. If you're a family member of mine, do not read this post. I'm not ready to talk about this stuff with you. I don't know if I'll ever be. I started playing in Smash tournaments when I was 12 years old. 3 years later, when I was 15 years old, I had my first sexual encounter at a Smash tournament. CEO Dreamland 2017, Friday night, April 14th, was the first time anything happened with Nairo, him being 20 years old at the time. Luckily, I recorded all my actions with someone on Discord, the verifiable with timestamps that coincide with others who I had messaged. I'm not posting this with the intention of canceling Nairo. I simply wish to tell the truth about what happened." And I'm gonna leave this down below. You guys can read this all for yourself, and everything is just extremely detailed. The album goes over 15-year-old Zach and just he live like messages. And his brother sending me money to keep me quiet through PayPal. They attempted to use a fake PayPal name in hopes no one would be able to track the money back to them. However, I can verify that Jeremy Toga PayPal was indeed Nairo's account by matching up the money I had asked for with my text messages. Nairo, I was told that by doing my part, by not telling anyone about our relations, I received financial help from him. The first $2,000 that I had sent was equal to my amount that I would have received my sponsorship had I not been dropped. This was after the ally situation came to light. Nairo immediately started calling me because some people were trying to bring out the situation.
Round 1. Fight. Your life ends. Round 2. Fight.
To Etika And Nairo here is just the allusion to suicide. I mean, goodbye, I'm sorry. And like, this is something really big. You guys gotta, like, Nairo's entire career is over for good, like, especially if he's like 100, obviously he's 100% guilty, but I have to say, like, allegedly, you know, like, Nairo's brother even came out in the Discord, in the sub Discord, and said, "Hey guys, it's over. Thank you so much for all the help you've provided. Here's Donner's status."
Frost wins.
So hopefully the brother helps Nairo, you know, not harm himself or anyone around him. But he does need to be accountable for what he did with Captain Zack. That's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty disgusting. Yeah, I don't know, that's bad, and especially trying to shut him up with money. And I see a lot of people are insane. They're saying things like, you know, the 15-year-old child shouldn't have led Nairo on and like started things or made a move on Nairo. If anybody saying that, I can understand if you are like around 15 yourself, you just won't be able to realize, because like I didn't get, like, I was just as oblivious when I was 15. I didn't really understand the extent of pedophilia between someone 15 and like 20 something, right? You think it's like all cool and stuff when you're that young, but if you are that young and you do realize how bad it is, like, good on you for sure. But if you are my age, you're around 21, and you are defending, you know, you are saying these things which are absolutely untrue, whether you're 15 or 21. You if you're saying these things, man, you need a reality check, and you kind of should get some help, to be honest, because if you're saying that a 15-year-old making sexual advancements on a grown adult is the 15-year-old's fault because for the adult going along with it, yeah, that's weird. That's weird. And I hope that you're not around any children or anything like that. I'll leave it at that. I'm trying to word what I say very precisely here, but anyways, yeah, no, this is in no way Captain Zack's fault, and it's really good on him for speaking up, because he was a prominent figure in the Smash community. I was subbed to Nairo on Twitch. I'm sure a lot of people watching this were, you know, Nairo, he's a legend, and now he's just someone disgusting and put into the hall of shame of the Smash community. And yeah, I don't know, it gives me goosebumps for real, because, you know, I feel like we all kind of just grew up, like, I grew up in the Smash scene. My cousin was power ranked. I was around ESAM, like, in real life. Florida scene for Smash was huge. Wizrobe, you know, all of them, I would be brought along to the tournaments when my cousin was power ranked and see, like, MVD, like all the legendary Smash players. And like, so I just grew up around, like, you know, content creators and all these Smash people. And like, so I always knew Nairo, like, not personally, but just like I always knew of him and like watched him from knowing, you know, all the other people. And it's just it's so weird. It's really so weird.
The record-breaking phenomenon Parasite made history, winning 4 Academy Awards, including Best Director Bong Joon-ho and Best Picture of the Year. Parasite.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't really said much of anything, so this is what's going to go down. I got to do this again because I keep doing this. Because this is the guy that basically talked about this. I'm sorry that I haven't been really, you know, brutally honest here, but this is what's going down. right now. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but this is, like, I can understand a lot of people are not happy with what happened, and I'm just being nice about this because it's not something I want to, you know, be mean about, but this is what went down. And I kind of do agree with his plan on strategizing right here, because it does seem like a little bit of a good plan, because a lot of people have been getting fed up with what's going on with the community. What he was talking about here is a good idea, and I think it's a good plan of attack on how to handle this situation for the community's sake, because a lot of people are talking about this issue and how this is handled in the situation. Now, do I think he's right? I think he's probably right about one thing that goes down in the community, and this is what moving forward, the plan of action to do. And I kind of agree with what he says here in this thing. So
Scarlet.
I'm gonna try to see what I can do here. I'm gonna try something. It's been a long, rough week for all of us to see people that we look up to, and I know that this is something that I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. This is from Black Gamer Guy, aka Dr. Black Gamer Guy. Black Guy Gamer, sorry. I apologize. We need a plot, plan, strategize, and organize and mobilize. It's been a rough week for all of us. To see the people that we look up to in the Smash community to do all these atrocities is heartbreaking. And to my heart goes out to all those victims and the people who we harass, and the people we have been made felt comfortable in the community. I believe that the Smash community is a community that comes together to escape reality and play games. Alright, I'm just pausing this for a moment. And I believe that smashing the community, I believe the Smash community is a community that comes together and escape the reality and play games. And we love so much in the environment where everyone is, despite race, culture, and gender, etc., Cloud could feel welcome. But it turns out there's an uncomfortable amount of people that don't quite understand that what these top players and people have done is immoral and should be honestly land them in jail. With this, I want to say that those who are heartbroken and don't know whether or not they should continue to be a part of the community or not, now is the time to turn your back on the Smash community. We need your courage and strength now more than ever, and what we should be doing is moving forward is to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. Now, this is the time to try to focus on efforts in making the community a safer place for everyone to hold the people that are figureheads of the community accountable by speaking up about the main issues in the community, big or small. In this TL, I'm going to go over what we should do to the community moving forward. Accountability. Let me start with something extremely simple. All of us players, TOS commentators, and figures need to know what accountability means and how much it will impact reality has. Really has. Oh, sorry about that. We are strong. We are as strong as we are weak. Weakest link. Everyone should know that the old standards of how the Smash community handles the situation, and what I've seen, it was sweeping it under the rug, letting it escalate over Twitter. This old standard of how we treat sexual harassment, beef, and much more in the Smash community needs to change now. We all need to hold each other more accountable when we see something wrong. We should respond to the moment it happens or the moment we hear it from it. This community effort, we are only as strong as our weakest link. That means everyone from the top players to the spectators. If you see something fucked up, say something to the TOs, your local leaders, and to someone you can trust. This is a form of accountability that should be taking action ASAP so that things like this don't resurface years later and cause a collapse like this, which is EVO being collapsed, which is the Smash community being collapsed, which tournaments they hold every year will never happen because of this. That I can agree with. I know that speaking up about something controversial could be scary, but look how we come together to help defend the ones who were hurt the most. Remember, 30% of the Smash community are the ones that attend events and have an impact on the scene, while 70% are at home watching it and playing Wi-Fi. Sexual consent, and what it means. I can't believe I'm going to go over this, but it is quite clear that a lot of people don't understand what consent is, not the age of consent, but what it means to receive it and how when we do. Consent is just as easy as asking someone that you find sexually attractive by asking them about the action that you are about to do to them. If you are fairly close to this person and both of you have feelings for each other, you should still ask, hey, is this okay if we blank? And the answer is simple, as saying yes and no to the action. However, when alcohol is involved, no matter what, yes means no, and I'll explain. When you are under the influence of alcohol, your judgment drastically changes. You could be sober and look at someone that you have seen several times and think, hey, they're not bad looking, but under the influence of alcohol and all of a sudden you would say, damn, they thick. And this is true. Obviously, people are going to have sex in the community, and it's inevitable. But don't prey on people you just met at a party, because this is extremely dangerous and could lead to several things. Treat these events like work. Don't fuck with your coworkers. And also, it should be common sense, but I'm gonna say this anyways. If you are underage and still in high school, just don't pursue them. It's that simple. Even if you are 20 and they are 17 pushing on to 18, don't. It doesn't matter. Look up the adults for advice and whatnot. Okay, this is basically if they are mature for their age, I don't give a fuck. Their brain isn't fully developed yet. At that young age, you look up to adults for advice and whatnot. The sexual tendencies are drastically changed in the bedroom for the ones who are under the 18. I also believe that videos on this at events would be necessary, i.e. Sonic Says format. It sounds silly to have a short video explaining what to do in these situations would be necessary, possibly for top players, to commentators, TOs and commentators, etc., to drive home to the point that we don't stand for it. I would like to go into greater detail the subject. A Nintendo dude made on TL on the subject. You can click on it and give you the read. Okay, so let's see. Alcohol and consumption and after parties. This hits home for me. For anyone that knows me, I'm a provider at events. I bring alcohol for partners and Mario parties, and I'm a local social drinker. And it does take an edge off of the tournament or after a long day of casting. However, alcohol can be weaponized and used to lure people into things that they are not normally comfortable doing. Because of this, I'm in the middle ground of how I feel about banning alcohol and consumption at events. I could argue that they still sell alcohol at sporting events like college football games, but in this community full of people that are extremely old or extremely young, I could say you should hold yourself accountable when alcohol is presented at events and make sure that minors can't drink it, but this would probably never happen. As I said, alcohol and drinks can be weaponized and used to lure minors into thinking that it's a sign of respect and coming of age, and they can clearly be taken advantage of if drinking too much. Depending on how you were raised, that's how people were introduced to alcohol. I've been drinking since I was 16, and I was more so to celebrate and drink socially with family at events. I can understand that most people want to ban alcohol entirely, and that's if what it takes to keep the community safe, then ban it. Otherwise, have a dispensary bar area where you can go and drink there. That is the topic that I would like to go over with anyone. So if you have a solution for this, let me know, because we'll be one person that will bring alcohol at the event with no real intentions of luring minors, but to have a good time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wipe my glasses here for a moment and try to... I'm sorry, it's just my glasses are kind of dirty right now. Chaperones and plus security. The last thing I want to go over is chaperones and security. At this moment, there's a huge divide whether or not we should have these two separate divisions for Smash. Let's call this, for example, major and minor leagues. The major leagues would consist of players over the age of 18, while the minor leagues would consist of players 18 and younger. While it sounds like a good on paper to keep minors safe, let me explain how it works. To start, if we were to do this, we could not have both major and minor league players in the same venue at the same time, as it would most likely defeat the purpose of separating them in the first place. So the majors and the events would have a different tournament days, weekends to keep them separate. Not to mention, how will the minor league players get there in the first place if they don't have a means to travel there themselves? The major leagues would capture more attention by default because most of the top players currently are above the age group, rendering the minor leagues almost useless. This is just an example. Now, I suggest we have chaperones or someone that can keep an eye on the minors at all time. It should be someone from your local scene, having it documented in events, who is their chaperone. And I think it would be more progressive to have a designated chaperone that would hold the person for age that is over the age of 21 and be held accountable for watching over young adults, and would be a great idea. And security is the next thing I would like to go over. If you're volunteering as security guard, take the job seriously. Yeah, that is true. Take the job seriously, because I've been at conventions where they have raves, and raves tend to be a little bit more dangerous because some people can bring drugs like meth and get high and go in there. I recall there was a girl that had seizures from meth, and we had to act accordingly by telling everyone to back off, don't touch her because she's having seizures, and until the medics arrived, because this does happen occasionally, in some cases, because of the fact I don't want to suggest to ban drugs, but unfortunately, you know, they're going to bring them regardless. I noticed a lot of white kids do this. And this is nothing against white kids, but you guys need to stop bringing drugs to events like this. Otherwise, you're going to endanger people's lives. I'm not kidding. You will. And this is especially to the women too, because they do look like they get high off of, and I hate to say it, they do get high. I've seen this happen at conventions, anime conventions too. So, and security is the next thing I would go over. If you're a volunteer security guard, take your job seriously. It's not just checking every bag, but making sure that people entering the venue are as safer as they can possibly be. Look at their face and check if they're all right, and ask them how things are. If you're checking the bag, these simple actions are different of making sure that whoever enters the venue is as safe as possible. Like, because sometimes there was an incident where a gunman shot at a Madden tournament, and they weren't able to check the bags. They weren't able to have security there to check guns because it was a tournament, and the guy took advantage of that situation. And right now, you know, there are conventions that are allowing this and hiring security now because of that one event where a guy decided to go crazy and start shooting people at a Madden tournament. It's sad but true, but I do agree with this guy's point here on a lot of the stuff that I do agree with his point about banning alcohol, but at the same time, you know, I do agree with him that there should be a separate place for people to go to an event. If they're going to go to an event, they should keep a bar separate and have it like I don't know, maybe they should try to if they want to keep it like a social drinking type of thing, like a bar or something, they should put like a restaurant, or put it at a restaurant, or go to a bar or local bar at the hotel or something and drink there. As far as I know, keeping kids out of those, and I do agree with the idea, but also the fact that they should keep kids out of the places where adults are drinking and all that other stuff, and then have the kids in a separate area, you know, play or whatever the heck they want to do. But don't bring alcohol over there or all that stuff to the kids. That's something I would agree with. As far as I know, it kind of does seem like a really good idea. But as far as I know, this is what the guy is saying about this. An example. Now, I suggest we do have a chaperone, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's see. I entered the Smash community in the year 2015, and it was an escape from college ball and college itself. And I have made countless friends, rivals, and awesome people in the community. And I want to do everything in my power to make an event safe and possible can be. So if you have any suggestions, please reach out to me. I'm open, and I want to give back to the Smash community the best way possible. Kendrill, the evil Dr. Black Gamer Guy. Now, there's some things I will agree with him on. The part about this is it does seem kind of obvious, because there was a lot of the issue that they pointed out, and a lot of them talked about this in their Twitlonger, was that they were drinking, and they lost. They were pretty much in poor judgment, and some of them even admitted. The people that came forward about their speaking out, but they also spoke out and admitted that they did wrong to the community, they did wrong to people, and they basically admitted in their own words that they basically were in a lapse of judgment of drinking alcohol. So, as far as I know, I admit there are cases like this that happen. Like I remember drinking, and I was lucky. That I can not be drunk as well as I could be. As much as I tend to be drunk, I was lucky to be in good judgment sometimes of admitting that I need to go to sleep. But I had to take a young girl who was extremely young, and I took her to her tent, made her sleep, even though I was drunk, made her sleep because she needed to go to bed. And I was drunk. And she was a nice kid. And luckily, nothing happened. I didn't do anything to her. I just let her go to bed, put her on her back. Not on her back, but on her chest, downwards, because you have to, when you're sleeping and you're, you have to lay them on their stomach, on the ground, because otherwise they'll be vomiting out stuff, and they have to, because if they're on their backs and they can't get up and they're drunk, they would not be able to breathe when the vomit's in all over their mouth. They would have to be on their back, on their chest, on the ground, always on the ground. And I made sure that kid was okay. Even when I was drunk, I made sure that kid was okay, because I knew the mom, and the mom was a really nice person. And even though she doesn't like me, I know that for a fact. Her mom, but her kid was very nice, and I felt bad that her, even though I'm still friends with the mom, she's a very nice person. I know that sometimes we got off on the wrong foot, but I wish her the best. And I do agree with this point here, because of the fact that if you're a kid, based on the state laws and everything, I would suggest either to bring your parents along. I know that most people hate that idea, but that's kind of how I feel about that whole issue. And this is something that can be addressed. And this is something that could be addressed in a way. Because it's like most people can't... It's hard for me to believe it, because it's like there's a lot of things that... Yeah, because a lot of it has to do with a lot of things that should be addressed on camera. But as far as I know, this is something that should be addressed onto the community, because I do agree, because according to a lot of the people that came into the community and went into the discussions about the fact, I do agree with this guy's point that you shouldn't be banning alcohol, but unfortunately, that like to drink, and that's understandable.
Your life.
To get off the edge of...
Round 2, fight!
Because this is... Social drinkers, and they're gonna probably be like in the party and shit. I don't know what to tell you guys, because this is something that a lot of people... other platforms that they've been using it on. It's also been used on many other different platforms. Now, keep this in mind. I don't think anybody realizes why they don't like. They don't like it. And to be honest with you, I think most people wouldn't care less about what happens in the community. But some do because they don't want to see what happened to Evo. And some people are trying to address these issues because right now a lot of video game companies are staying away from the tournament because of what happened.
What do you pay for?
And it draws a really bad stigma towards the So as far as I know, this is pretty.
Round 2.
Pretty bad.
Fight.
And I'm not gonna try to the crap. I'm not gonna try to say that.
Tribute is due.
Speaking of which, I would like to Joe is in the back. I know that Reset Era has been trying to
Finish him.
Trying to ruin him and from the game.
Start to win.
It's kind of hilarious because a lot of people are talking about this because personally I don't really think that they should do that. And it's kind of hilarious how they're trying to ruin a person. Now, I want to show you something else. I had people telling me, you know, I know people had their gripes about Angry Joe since back when he came out of his way to talk about something that he shouldn't be talking about, but unfortunately he did. And a lot of people were kind of upset with him personally. And the thing is, I kind of forgive Angry Joe, but when he made a review about whatchamacallit, they went out of their way to go after him and try to ruin him, and I don't think he deserves to be ruined for basically saying he did not like one particular game, which Sony will not likely, because let's face it, Sony hates that game.
Round 1. Fight.
This is something that I'm gonna go ahead and talk about because this is where it gets to the point. I'm not gonna, you know, throw this out there, but there's been a lot of resentment towards Angry Joe for a while, and the reason why they're upset with him is over the review of Last of Us 2, because he basically made it clear
For blood.
he was upset about. He didn't like the
Round
story.
2.
He
Fight.
didn't mention anything sexual. He only mentioned the parts. Like, I don't get why people misrepresent why anyone had they just basically misquote him. He said he didn't like the story. That's understandable.
Finish him.
It's like, this is where it gets to the point of, let's see if I remember, finisher. Okay, back forward, back B. It's like, I don't know. I think most people who are upset about this are kind of upset about what he kind of revealed. I'm not saying that it's kind of stupid how people are really upset about what
Start wins.
giving a bad review to but he didn't say anything mean about it particularly. He just didn't like the story. He didn't like how they were treating the story. And it got to the point where people were upset with him. He didn't, and not that he basically said some things. And it's ridiculous how they banned him. And he basically did like the discussions on Reset Era are stupid. They basically got upset with him because he basically did not like one particular game. Okay, Angry Joe really went. No, he didn't mention anything sexual. He didn't like how the story went on the relationship side of The Last of Us Part 2. He didn't mention anything negative about it. If you honestly watched his video, he does not say anything negative or sexual about it. He did not like the story. That's what he got upset about, was the story, because of the way that they portrayed the character. It's kind of obvious that going off on the deep end and trying to go off on people like this.
Round 2. Fight.
It is so bad that they are a hug goddess that get upset over the stuff and try to, after the video, again, they kind of harass them over it. It's kind of stupid. So why are you gonna bow down to these guys? And this is the type of company that Hugbot, even though it's for the industry folks to talk about stuff, they try to build little breadcrumb rumors so that but the fact that they went out of their way to ban Joe on Reset Era, why is it gonna be that way? When Angry Joe is his own content creator, he can go somewhere else because of the fact that the video that he made, let's put it this way. Let me go on YouTube and show you the Angry Joe video. This is Angry Joe. Let me see if I can find it. Because this is the Angry Joe of Last of Us Part 2. And he went out of his way to basically get upset about this.
Round 1. Fight.
this is the type of thing that he got upset about. Like, he basically gave it a 10 out of 10.
That story at all. I gotta say, that is really fucking brave from Neil Druckmann. I take back everything I've ever said. I really enjoy this game. I think you guys need to go out and check it out. It's very bold. It's very bold.
I like the twist at the end.
Did you?
Where are you going? I did not expect that.
Expectations subverted.
Yeah,
we did it.
Wow.
You literally find yourselves rooting for these poorly written characters to die. Because either they are boring, they're shitty people, poorly written, or if just to stop their section of the game and get back to, I don't know, Ellie's story. I thought this was Ellie's game. You know, what we've been waiting for.
Hey, whose birthday is it?
You can't keep doing that.
I want a good splash. We've got more exploring to do.
Do it, Joel.
Geronimo!
Nice.
Texan Geronimo.
Look, and I'm not saying that they couldn't do the story this way. Please, please don't dismiss. Oh, it's just that maybe it would have worked, played out differently, told better, in a different order. Like maybe we could have played as Abby first, play as a child. Let us build up this muscle mass to avenge this traumatic event that the audience isn't aware of and is never shown until it's too late. Ellie could get pissed at Joel like she does here the whole fucking game, and then sets out on her own game. And at some point crosses paths with Abby. And these two save each other and build a friendship. And they are the duo that we play and care for just as we did Ellie and Joel in the first game. And then later Abby can find out who they really are and who Joel really is. Bam! Then a thing happens and Ellie's world is rocked. That would have been compelling. That would have had real drama. This, right here in the beginning of the first hour, it's just shock factor, for pure shock factor, completely missing its own point that it's trying to make. And I came up with that in 5 minutes. And you're telling me in 7 years this is what they did?
It's not earned. It's fucking bullshit.
Okay.
I guarantee you in The Last of Us Part 3.
Yeah. He didn't say anything sexual or derogatory or anything. He basically talked about the fact that the story wasn't there. It wasn't even there. And I don't know how these people at Reset Era are supposed to be experts in the video game industry, and they get so butthurt over this. The fact that people have pointed out the issue about the storyline, that it didn't make any sense, they got upset with Angry Joe talking about this, and they went out of their way to go off on him and banning him from Reset Era. The fact that they are a freaking goddamn hug box. They have been doing this for years, harassing game developers, going so far demanding things from game developers that they should put a trans character in there. Okay. This is how bad they desperately put themselves in a weird. This is the type of thing that they've been doing for a while.
Round
and
2.
They've been trying
Fight.
to destroy whatever's left of the
Time. They are so aggressively bad, and I don't know why
the game industry sides with them, oh, it's because they have the right politics. They are their personal army. They are the reason why the reason why a lot of these people in the game industry side with them. Even if you try to talk about something that you honestly disagree with them about, the mods will try to ban you from the thread or take you off the thread or delete the thread if you make a thread about something. This is the type of behavior you see at Reset Era. The fact that they have been doing this for a long time is surprising. And it's kind of sad that this has been happening for a long time. And I'm not saying they're bad.
Share your true feelings, Scarlet.
They come off as arrogant.
You're an entitled, treasonous
And I don't know why
You sound much like Shao Kahn.
Round 1, fight.
Because I can see why. Because they're their personal army for journalists. For journalists, you know, trying to get a game, trying to support their little trans LGBTQ. That's what I think. There's like a trans go after over trans stuff. It's kind of true on what Nintendo has been doing. Because ESA has been, you know, keeping tabs on game journalists.
Fight.
And the fact that I found out from years talking about the fact that she was on a lawsuit to go after discuss this issue about what happened and how ESA had done this by gaining their information, and then you find out that they were spreading it out there to the community on the ESA website. And this kind of stuff kind of is creepy, because when a journalist that came out, actually a Russian Times journalist, came out of her way. She was a trans woman. She basically blurted out that, oh yeah, by the way, and you know what they did? Kotaku did, and also other game journalists, they got upset.
What's up?
Because you want to know why? Even Reset Era was upset about that. It's kind of surprising because they've been trying to go after a trans woman at that, and they try to go on that. And I'm not trying to compete, but I will say this.
Round 2,
because this is something that should be addressed. Because the fact that they want to go out of their way to basically belittle her just because she doesn't have the right qualities, and she basically admitted that. I'm not going to tell everyone, hey, ESA is dying. And you know what the guys all the other journals got upset with her, basically blurred it out, telling everyone about it.
Bloodline ends.
And that's what happens. Oh, I got another brutality. That's great. And this is what went down because of the fact that even Elena Pierce had to quit her job because of this. And for those who don't know, this is I'll show you. Elena Pierce. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, that reminds me.
You are disposable to...
Round 1.
I'm kind of laughing at this because this is the type of stuff that. The thing about Kanye people are making fun of him. It's like. If you had the balls to do it.
Round
and a lot of
2.
people are
Fight.
laughing at that guy. And I think it's
Finish him. Flawless victory.
I'll show you what people are doing on Twitter to him, because they're doing the whole Joe Biden thing. Like, I gotta find the meme. Yeah, Kanye. Yeah, like Kanye is like. Like, that's what Kanye's doing right now. Like, he's appreciating the memes right now. That's what's up. He's appreciating the memes. Like, he's actually having fun with himself, you know, doing what he does. And you can tell that he's, like, having fun with it when he's running for Kanye 2020. And it's like he's appreciating himself a lot more. Like, from Yeezy, the show season of West 8 Family, March 2nd, 2020. So he's basically having fun doing his thing, and I can respect that. And it's like he's basically telling everyone, "Oh, I'm running for president, by the way." But the problem is, you know, maybe on 2024 he could probably do it, but he can't do it because he's not going to register for it. But as far as I know, if he did, I would love to see that. I did buy his album, the Christian album, and I have to say it's an okay album. I'm not saying it's a bad album, because I still like Kanye. I still do. He's a good guy. He went through a lot in his life, and I can relate to that struggle. And it's like 2020 vision. Like, he's basically going out of his way on the 2020 vision. I'm sick as fuck. Like, I like the quick fuck 2020 vision. Like, people are just making fun of it. We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision of building a future. And I'm running for president of the United States 2020 vision. And Elon Musk says, you have my full support. The world Kanye becomes president 2020. And everyone's like making memes of this. Like, they're basically saying Kanye West wants to support gay rights, prison reform, tax breaks to bring factory jobs back to America, prison reform, more mental health institutions, more art programs, defund the police. No, stop the frisk in Chicago, better educational programs. Those are the things that people are basically doing. And here's the meme that everyone's talking about. That's so hilariously funny. So that's pretty much what you're going to be seeing of Kanye. And this is like the thing that they're trying to do. Like, that would be cool to see Kanye in the Oval Office, but that's not going to happen because I know that a lot of people don't like Kanye for a lot of good reasons. And I can see that he has a vision, he has a goal. He's a goal. He has goals. He makes a lot of goals, and I can respect that about him. But I don't know if he's ready to be a leader. and a lot of people are kind of surprised by this, and it's like Paris for president, like that's funny, like even they're literally making fun of him over this. Kanye West suggests African American slavery is like, I could care less about the choice joke, because he made that oh, you motherfucker. Oh, you bitch. Alright. This is what goes down. Taylor Swift for president 2020. Like, a lot of people are, like, making jokes about this. Yeezus and Kana. I'm so credible and so influential and relevant. I will change the thing. Like, I guess I would like to see that happen, because that would be hilariously funny to see. If he becomes president, I want his who would be his vice president would be I don't know. I would love to see that happen, like Kanye and also Michael Jordan. It'd be funny if he was his running mate, and they would deal with the issues of anything. But as far as I know, you know, good luck to him, because a lot of people, like, there's some people that are like, somebody go get your boy. I cannot deal with Kanye West, murder hornets, Karens, COVID-19. I cannot. Get your boy. No. 2020. This is the current vision of 2020. Kanye West.
Go get him, because something is clearly not right upstairs, okay? I know we got the Sahara Desert storms and dust and whatever that's rolling through right now, but are you freaking dehydrated? You know when you dehydrated, your stuff is not all the way together. Get you some water. Get you some water, because you are dehydrated. Oh my God. Go sit down. Go make music. Go produce music, but just stay away from the office of the freaking presidency. Like, do not confuse Americans, because we already on a highway to hell.
Like, a lot of people are doubting him. Like, he's basically going crazy. And who else can we vote for that does not involve him? Because this is crazy enough that Kanye is gonna try to compete for the presidency. Okay, but the one thing they forgot about him is that he went to the hospital for old, racist, has dementia, 8 rape allegations, 43 years young, 0 rape allegations, 21 Grammys, greatest hip hop artist of all time. But he's also mentally crazy. He went to the hospital for having a breakdown. That's the one thing they forgot about him. And the problem is that he's trying to run for president. I wish him the best of luck, because this is hilariously funny to see him try to become president. If he does become president, it would be the day that everyone would be visioning him to do. I would probably vote for him, but I know that he's not registered in this state of Washington. So as far as I know, because a lot of people want Joe Biden to win, and I can understand Joe Biden wants to be in power, but also the fact that he wants to make money off of this. Just saying, because this is the type of thing that's going down, especially the tax plan that Joe Biden's going to make. A lot of people are going to be upset about this, and I don't know why anyone would want to vote for him, because this is kind of a crazy situation. Because it does irk me on this one.
strong arteries.
Because it's really strange how this is.
Round 2.
How this is gonna turn out.
Fight.
So as far as I know, this is what's going down, and it's kind of hilarious that Kanye is trying to run for president. There's another thing.
Okay, so I've seen.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys something else that's kind of cringy but funny. I thought it was kind of funny.
Some videos online of some out of control cars driving into crowds and things like that, and let me tell you, this is about $10 online. It's an emergency window breaker. And it even has a keychain, so you put it on a keychain, put it on your bag, and you can rip it off in a case of an emergency. You push this onto their window, and it gives you access to the vehicle that may be about to hurt you and your friends. It also has a seatbelt cutter if you need to remove the person from the car. Okay, so I've seen some videos online.
Yeah, because of the whole situation with what happened in Seattle, where a person ran over somebody, and the guy tried to stop. And I thought it was kind of hilariously funny. As far as I know, it's what's going on, and it's like, I don't know why anyone would do that. Now I'm getting the hang of it.
Round 2. Fight. Be good at this game. It's always been that way.
Serves me well.
Final round. Fight.
See what's on the move list here. Okay, so I gotta go masterpiece. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2,
Start.
That's a funny ass friendship right there. That's a funny ass friendship right there. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna have to leave. You guys take care of yourselves. Have a good night. I know that I haven't really been making much good content lately. I've been busy with work. Real life hasn't been really great for me. I might be moving out sooner or later. Hopefully in the near future, I'll probably get a better connection, a better limelight of what I'm doing. So anyways, guys, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening.